Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines, coming to you from Denver, Colorado. Still, Josh Lander, joined as always by my guy Nate Weitzer, holding it down on the East Coast, and we are running through a big fat NBA Wednesday night slate for you guys tonight. Make sure you do like and subscribe to that page, as we've got a bunch of videos on a bunch of different games and some player props out there for you. Nate's got another great article up on playpicks.com, including those best bets and player props, so make sure you check that out. And if you do still need a FanDuel or a DraftKings account, head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com and find those listings in your area, such as we're about to get into looking at the Pacers and the Nuggies tonight. Nate, let's get into those lines for Wednesday night.
Yeah, so the first thing to know about this game is Jokic is suspended. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute, but that's, has the Nuggets as +3 underdogs at home, and the total, which we were going to hammer the under at this point, everybody has hammered it. It's gone from 213.5 to 207.5 in about an hour this morning. So that is some crazy line movement. There might be some value on the other side at this point, but we will come back to that. Looking at the other games of the association here. Wizards -3 at Cavs, Nets -9 at Magic, Bucks +4 at Knicks, Pistons +4 at Rockets. We got Raptors +2 at Celtics. Love Boston there, as we say in our video. Hornets +5 at Grizz, Thunder +4 at Pelicans, Mavs +4 at Bulls, Kings +1 at Spurs, Blazers +5 at Suns. The Wolves are +7 at the Warriors. Got an episode up on that one. And then the Heat -4 at the Lakers. So, yeah, Josh, there goes another half point down to 207 because, it was just a really incorrect line. It was almost as if odds makers didn't realize that Jokic was out when they said 213 points, because the Nuggets have been under machines with their MVP out there. Their season high was 113 in his last game with a triple-double from Jokic. He's posting a 123 offensive rating, and they're 24th in offensive rating with him doing that. So, logic implies that their offense is going to struggle at this point. Malcolm Brogdon coming back for the Pacers makes it a little bit tougher for some of those guards that, the Nuggets are going to depend on tonight. Monte Morris, Will Barton, to make up for Jokic. Might make it a little tougher for them to score. They've gone under in 4 of their 5 home games this year, games averaging just 192. They have the number 1 defensive rating in the league at home. That should continue even without the Joker. And the Pacers, it's just a new day for them with Rick Carlisle. They've gone under 5 of their last 6. They are not getting to the free throw line. Neither is Denver. Both of these teams have been under machines. But I don't know how you feel about the number at this point at 207. Would you now at this point flip the take and say, I'll just take the value and assume that one of these teams is going to get over 100 points, basically?
Yeah, it's actually interesting. I continue to think over actually at this point. And the reason I would zag and 213, it sounds like a lot when you look at the average amount of points being scored in Denver this season. But even 213 isn't a number. It's a number that is incorrect in my opinion because of the fact that Jokic isn't playing. And while that doesn't mean their defense is going to be better, their defense is going to be too much worse, or that their offense is going to be better necessarily, because obviously we know what kind of player he is. We know what his individual offensive rating is and how it really carries the rest of his team's offensive rating. But there is something to be said for the fact that now the main players that will be getting time and usage rate on the Nuggets is going to be Will Barton, Monte Morris, MPJ, Aaron Gordon, Jeff Green. Right? They're not really going to necessarily dump someone like JaMychal Green in there to be sort of like a center at this point. And they don't really have much. Bol isn't even like a true center despite how tall he is. So there's nobody really to come in and play the same role as Jokic, which means there's nobody to come in and run the offense the same way that this point center runs the offense, right? And I think with that spread out mentality, you're going to see a lot more threes from all of those guys I just mentioned, Aaron Gordon, Morris, Barton, MPJ. Those guys are going to be pulling. That's a fast small ball lineup right there if ever there was one. Maybe we see the Rook Bones Highland in there. Just want to shout out Bones real quick. Maybe we get some more speed in there. He's got at least some size that can play in that small ball lineup. So I do like 207 taking that over. I'm sure before we even finish speaking, this is going to be at 206.5, just because of how amazing, and incredible those offensive or those home defensive stats are, and really just the way that things get chopped up and slowed down for the Nuggets. And at home they have the fifth slowest pace that they're playing with right now, and there's no reason to think that that is going to be something that should 100% continue when you don't have the same style of offense playing. So I think this is going to be a big difference. I think similar to that Philly Milwaukee game we saw last night, where Philly just Maxey goes off, a bunch of other guys are just pulling threes. Things are opened up because there's no focus on getting your big man and your best player the ball. There's just next best shot gets the shot, and there's plenty of guys on Denver who are less than afraid of shooting that ball. So I'm actually not going to touch this Indy. Indy right now is a better team than the Nuggets without Jokic. That feels safe to say, especially with Karis LeVert back. But that doesn't. They're not better when he is there, and they're not so much better than these other guys that I would feel comfortable taking them to win this game or cover any kind of spread. So to be honest, I'm just looking at a few of those other guys on Denver and those props, and really focusing on that over at this point at 207, which I'm not scared of.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great take, kind of adjusting live on air here because it's gotten so low. The more I think about it, the pace that Denver plays at, it has a lot to do with Jokic. That you basically have to wait for him to lumber up the floor when he's playing 40 minutes. You can't just push it. And because he's tired, they're playing at the slowest pace in the NBA during the second half. And the Pacers are playing their 20th in pace during the second half. But when the home team dictates a certain pace, the Pacers would have to come along with that to a degree. If they go guard heavy, the Pacers will go guard heavy as well. We could see a surprisingly up and down game here. And a lot of those slashing guards, it is kind of a stars out, bets up situation in the sense that maybe we just see more points from an offense that's struggled. And that's why we see some positive regression in terms of Denver's production. And, maybe Jokic is a little bit of an underrated defender. I mean, obviously he plays a role in having that top points per game average in that incredible defensive rating at home. And without him in there, if they do go truly small, I mean, what's Sabonis going to do down low? What's LeVert going to do getting to the rim? The Pacers are going to be able to score. So, I think take that value. And I did see it kind of swing up a half point as you were talking. So I think we're not the only ones saying, look, if it's going that low, I'm getting that over.
Yep, 100%. I think that's where the smart money is tonight. Even though I don't trust Indy to win at all, I do think they can score in Denver a little bit, and Denver will be playing at a faster pace. So I think we're zagging on this one a bit after 6 points. We're taking off of that total from people betting it down. So that is all the time we have for today. Make sure to stay on that spread for the Pacers and Nuggets as it keeps fluctuating, and like and subscribe to that page as we'll continue to bring you these winners. A bunch of videos on this big NBA Wednesday night slate, including a player props video. So check all those out. And until we see you next, happy betting.